Mystery case. Hello. Have you ever been in a desperate situation? Go to the gods to find peace, ironing and solution yet. In difficult times, to pray or to seek guidance. Spirituality is not wrong, but if you let that belief rule your whole life, you may have accidentally opened the door. Welcome to the unexpected danger. And today, we're going to solve the horrible case, where the shamans are the ones who lead to tragedy. College girl and the mysterious disappearance. The 19th of May 2013 at the English department of the Taiwanese women, teachers and classmates discovered from April 2nd 7th, the girl Tran Ngoc seems to have completely disappeared. You don't come to class, not replying to the message, and they don't appear on social media. It's remarkable that before he disappeared, she posted a cryptic post on Facebook. If you can accept a life of disability, if you are not stubborn, maybe everything will be better. This article quickly made friends and teacher worried, especially when they know you've been in shock. Big after breaking up boyfriend years ago, they were afraid she might have been suicidal. Immediately, get in touch with your family to find out. The picture of my life is starting to show up. Is an introvert girl, little communication with friends, and no one really knew much about her situation. My parents died early. Your brother became a wanted criminal. The only person left is your grandmother. Old weak, but she doesn't know where she is now. After being notified, my grandmother reported the disappearance to the police, asked them to launch search and investigation. The first clues. When the police came to inspect Tran Ngoc's apartment, they noticed no sign of moving. This suggests that you may have left in a state of surprise. They tracked bank transactions, departure and medical records after April 2nd, but there's no significant results. Ultimate camera, security and phone signals provided important clues. April 2nd 6. She showed up at a convenience store to pick up a package. It looks completely normal. 2 days 7 months. Private. Her cell phone signal shows up in her home. It was about 200 kilometers from Taipei before disappearing completely. This raises a series of questions. If you wanted to kill yourself at Sao, you traveled that far. And she met AI at home. Police decided to find out more about her relationship, starting with my ex-boyfriend. Mysterious ex-boyfriend. From Tran Ngoc's personal diary as, the police discovered a complicated relationship between you and your ex-boyfriend. Even though we loved each other, they broke up after difficult conflicts. Your boyfriend admitted to causing you pain, but you insist. I have nothing to do with missing. I have no doubt about my ex-boyfriend. The police turned to another suspicious finding. BA side. Large money transfers totaling more than NT$3 million. The same bill for NT$5 million. It was all sent to a stranger. His name is Huang Van Tin. Huang Van Static. The 39-year-old is a married man and run a forward investigation company used in Taiking. He admitted that he knew Tran Ngoc like through an online game and claim a large amount of money. Give him to invest. However, this statement does not match that the police have. When asked about the money transferred to the girl, Huang Van calmly explained, I sometimes send you some money. However, that amount is not large. The girl later returned about 300,000 RMB, the 3 million you transferred back to invest in your company. Huang Van calmly confirmed, returned the money to the girl. And a bill of $5 million. The girl gave it to him voluntarily, as a guarantee of love. But there's a question that no AI can answer. How to be a normal student. It's possible to accumulate such a large just from extra work. The police couldn't find it either. Any transaction to prove. The bank has returned the money, as at the same time, a bill of $5 million. That the static Emperor Cho is the guarantee. Love makes the case even more complicated. Before these illogical explanations, the police couldn't help but feel suspicious. However, because there is directly no connected to the case, and according to the investigation, on April 2nd 7, he's still in Taiking. There was no contact with such, so the police had to leave him alone for now. But the police's intuition tell them that the letter is definitely related to this. As a very experienced person, he is able to resist investigation and the use of sophisticated tricks, so the police understand that they have to be patient. We need a decisive piece of evidence to be able to find out the truth about the student's disappearance. Tran Ngoc as. After this meeting, the police all realize it's going to be a long, tough fight. Requires patience as well as step-by-step calculation. Important clues. The police decided to continue digging into important clues. Source of money, email content and contact list in the phone. Up to this point, the police have not been able to clarify. Why do you have so much money? This is vague. More than the reason the girl sends money to calm We continued to investigate the source of the money. Police discovered a series of strange acts of, in June 2012, I used it. Leave the parents behind. Borrowing $72 million from the public bank. In that loan amount, you paid a man named Shu $206,000 service What's charge. Suspicious is that less than half a year later, in October of the same year, she sold this apartment for $3 million. According to the market value at the time, this apartment is worth about $7 million. The police suspect every chain of actions to borrow and sell assets. This one is related to culture. To clarify this, the police continued to investigate and discovered an important piece of information. They confirmed that they bought a train ticket to go to Italy on April 2nd, 2013, and since 2010, she contacted a magician by email, the name of Lithin, to ask him to use his divine power, help you catch your ex. When the police met the legal wizard, he admitted that he received money to solve emotional problems. However, although he tried many methods of burning incense, note uncle, if you burn the spell, your ex will not come back. Not give up, like constantly urging the shaman to try something ready else. To try any magic. I see the girl so determined, the lawyer just wants to push you away. And then he remembered a believer. I gave him a company, credit evaluation, and pretend to say that if you get the correct address of your ex, it's possible to do the magic more accurately. To resolve the situation, he provided contact information. The owner of the company and the owner of this company is no other than Quiet. However, these details are only small clues and not enough to unravel the static. The mysterious calls. Police began investigating the phone records of such. In the 26th of April 2013, there's a strange phone number. I have been in constant contact with you. After inspection, the police found out that this is a phone number prepaid and not registered. They can't identify the owner of this phone number. Then, on April 2nd to 7th, we arrived in Italy. A strange number B contacted her again. This number is also a prepaid number. The police began to suspect they had a relationship, and there's a purpose behind the calls. Posted on 26 quarters, he used his own phone number to call the number B. And on April 2nd and 7th, in addition to contacting as a prepaid phone number, call AC phone number. It's also a prepaid number, especially the signal of C number and the signal of static. They all come from the same wave. However, from the point of view of the chain of evidence, 2 phone numbers come from the same touch. It's not enough to confirm anything. In addition to Holmes' phone signal, still in Taiking on day 2, April 7th, and his car is always in It shows that he didn't come to the hospital. But the phone signal of Pearl suddenly returned. Lost signal at home. Are you going to Taiking? The contact card and the touch signal, we can't quite connect the dots. But being careful, I decided not to give up. They keep searching. Clues from phone signals and detection. The speed of the phone signal, before losing the signal, it's not the same as walking speed. It's like the speed of a car. This makes them suspicious, as if that I could use a car. To Taiking. Bold hypothesis. This caused the police to decide several times to track phone calls. And finally, they've collected 10 bits of data about home radio stations, Italy and Taiking, in the same day. Hundreds of thousands of data to analyze. It's a giant challenge. They have to race against time to find it. Clues about the girl's disappearance. After a thorough review, they picked out 2 phone numbers. It has a speed that matches the distance from home. Think about Taiking. However, the supervision keep these phone numbers for a long time does not bring clear results. The approach is time-consuming and this effort was finally forced to stop after half a year. Since the victim's family reported her missing, the police have now decided to contact the people involved and rule out suspicion. Leads to the first suspect. During the investigation, the police quickly identified a driver. The bus in Taiking is the main suspect. This driver engaged in suspicious behavior on April 2nd to 7th. He quit his job for no apparent reason. This led the police to invite. He came for questioning. The 12th of April 2013, police appear at the driver's door. Expression bewildered, as well as his anger in the face of the police. It increases the suspicion. The driver said he did nothing wrong. But when asked about the action on April 2nd to 7th, he was confused and couldn't keep his cool. After a while of whining, the driver said that afternoon, he's on a mission to drive to Ga to welcome Tran and Gokaz. Pretending to be a magician's assistant, he gave the girl a bottle of red wine. Contains sedatives. It is said to be purified water before the ceremony. After drinking and falling asleep, the driver took her back to Taiking and handed her over. With this testimony, the police quickly obtained a search warrant and company of static. In the 1st of June 2014, here they found a lot of shocking details. In the House of Calm, It's not just his wife. I have another girlfriend who lives with me. This shows that Tran and Gok is not a minor three. It's a quad in a complicated relationship. Out, police found sedatives and a SIM card. It belongs to one of the phone number they investigated, especially a USB hard drive. The encryption was detected in Van Static's pants pocket. When asked about the content, he just said he picked it up on the side of the road, and I don't know what's inside. Hard drive shock detection. Sent to the police technology department to decipher. While the investigation team continues to search the house, they found a gun and more than 30 bullets. Heroin hidden on the ceiling. There was no trace of blood in the bathroom. The evidence was enough for the police to petition for arrest with criminal charges, possession of illegal weapons and illegal drugs. Calm down now. He continues to deny involvement in his disappearance. As confirmed after an argument. It's like leaving without knowing where you're going. Of course, the police didn't believe him. The whole truth is revealed. February 2, 2014, during the 11th interrogation, while smoking with the investigators, suddenly shivered, sighed and said, "I'll take you to her." This statement really shocked the investigator. The next day, the Serenity led them, a remote forest in Taiking. Beneath the soil covered in wooden barrels, they found a human skeleton. DNA results confirmed that this is Tran and Gok's body as. With Huang Van Tin's testimony, the tragic story of Az gradually unraveled. Young girl born in a normal family, but there's a lot to lose when parents die early. Through an unhappy childhood, to face the rigors of grandparents, it's like growing up with a lack of self-confidence, as well as a strong desire for love. After high school graduation, it's like starting a job to support your family. However, by the age of 21, she decided to go back to completion of high school and university. This determination shows a strong will in this little girl. At the age of 26, she became an English student in the continuing education department of the university. Here she met her ex-lover, a member of the basketball team. This beautiful young couple, they should have been the ideal couple. But the relationship quickly ended due to the unsafe nature of such. After breaking up, she fell into a state of depression and despair. To ease her pain, she turned to religion and mystical ritual. I hope I can get my ex back. And from here, life is as sliding in a dark spiral. It's about finding spiritual comfort. As if he had met Li Tianren, a shaman of disrepute. Li then introduced her to the Quiet, who quickly recognizes psychological weakness. He knows as well as owning a house left behind by his parents. He decided to use this to his advantage. From there, calmly start to implement the plan to defraud money and the body as 6,011 as officially caught up in his game of deception. Calmly lying, he also knows magic. It can help you get your ex back. However, he asked you to use your body as the basis for the ritual. Easily manipulated. Tran Dai as trusted and quickly accepted. At a hotel in New North, she was asked to take off nails, her clothes, hair and pubic hair for raw materials for ritual. Calmly performed the ritual with red ink on her back. Recorded by video and collected her 6,000 yuan. Unexpected in less than a week. Ex-lovers like actively contacted again, even though they didn't get back together. But this change brings a ray of hope. Even though it is fragile, it makes I feel like things can change for the better. The fateful meeting. In May 2012, quiet appointment as at a hotel in Taiking. It was a fight, a meeting you thought was just a normal date. We both sat down to eat in the hotel room. Like there's absolutely no doubt. To drink a glass of wine invited by Huang Van Tin. It's a glass of wine containing FML. It's a powerful anesthetic. Just a few minutes after drinking as if fainting. Now calm down, don't miss a chance. He photographed naked pictures of her in various poses. Continued the abuse. All the bad scenes. This was all recorded by him on video. When I wake up, calmly lured her to say they were. He had sex and forced her to be his lover. After confirming the relationship, Steady continued to implement the scam plan. June of the same year, he forced a mortgage on your house. In October, he forced her to sell the house and all the money went into his account. For investment reasons. These tricks don't stop. With bottomless greed, Huang Van Tin made up a fake story that I owe him $5 million. He forged your signature to sign a note. Take out a loan and use it to get the math to execute. This means that even when you're dead, he can still expropriate the property. The horrible murder plan. In early 2013, I decided to end my relationship with that, but he didn't expect you to give up so easily. Threatened to reveal all about their financial relationship. They gave it to his wife. This leaves Calm with no other option. in addition to carrying out a murder plan. In 2013, calmly start to carry out plans to kill as he pretended to be a magician and seduce. She went to a recitation and a ceremony. Here he's taking strong sleeping pills. When you're unconscious, he and his driver took her to an apartment that he's hired. In this apartment, he continues to commit atrocities. He sprayed gas into her mouth and nose for almost 10 minutes, like being unable to breathe and eventually dying from lack of oxygen. He took her life in a cruel way, without even a hint of regret. After killing Tran and Gok's Ventin did not stop. He put your body in the trunk, running around looking for a place to hide the body, and he ended up burying her in a nice place. To cover his tracks, he used an old wooden door, a wooden box to cover the body, and then he threw away his clothes and her bag down the stream, then fled the scene. Action of static goods. To prove his brutality and savagery, he's not just take the life of an innocent girl, but deliberately concealing the crime. His evil to avoid being discovered. When the case goes to court, Huang Van Static justified Chen and Gok's death was an accident. However, with irrefutable evidence, his defense is completely unpersuasive. The police have collected 10 pieces of evidence proving his evil, and finally, Huang Van Tin was convicted. Life in prison for many crimes. It's guilty of murder. The death of Tran and Gok seems to have hurt many people. She is a shy girl, love and desire for attention, but become the victim of a cunning scammer. Insidious. After many years, investigators who have been involved in the case, I can't forget the moment they identified him. You can see Tran and Gok's grandmother. It's like going to the police station to pick up my nephew's body. They still can't hold back their tears. February 2nd, 6, 2014. Teachers and friends at Women's College held a memorial for Cho Tran and Gok as they pray that you may find peace and love in the world beyond. It is an opportunity for people to remember a young girl, a life stolen too soon by greed and wickedness. In the north of Hong Kong's New Territories is Tenille. There's a village called Duong Bin nearby. This is a beautiful village with mountains and rivers in green as a mosaic of pleasant scenery, but due to its proximity to the Chinese relatively border, sparsely populated. From the old days, 15 years ago, there were a lot of spiritual stories, word of mouth from one life to another. People tell each other, when the wedge comes down, a girl's soul will appear, wandering near the bamboo forest. Some people even heard the cry, like tearing meat in the middle of the night. These events people think are secretly related to a case, bizarre murder case. They link them together and create countless stories and spooky rumors. The source of stories and events took place in the year 1981. There was a terrible tragedy and engraved in the hearts of the memory is not good. And now I invite you to listen to this story. I hope you will support the video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you have not registered, thank you very much. A 29-year-old woman. He originally lived in the First County. Her father was a street vendor. The brothers and sisters in the house are very harmonious. Year 1979. She's a year older than you. They love each other and get married. After stabilizing, they move to the stone house. No, 60 on the slopes of Duong New Village. Peaceful muscles build a home together. In the end, their love came to fruition. They have 2 children who are 2 years older. Baby just a few months. However, then the family of 4 has one more small member. The girl's name is Mo Yuluan. Everyone calls Yulun. The 6-year-old is the daughter of a former wife. It is said that not long after the birth of Ziluan, they divorced because of dissent. The court ruled that the daughter was raised by the mother, and the father must suffer monthly allowance for the little girl. 2 years after the divorce, even though China is known, it's like his ex-wife has built a new family. So he asked to be allowed to raise his daughter. You take the fairies as your wife. It's also about building a happy family and hope to make up for the loss. Motherly love for the baby. His wife also considers him as her son. Love the little girl so much. This is a family of 5. But the Chinese came to South Africa to make a living. Leave your wife in a remote house, far from the city. However, thanks to the hard work of the Chinese, the family had a full life, and we rarely have to worry about money. 6 years a ripe age 21. Thailand is an aunt's sister. I have to go back to my parents' to help out for my sister's wedding. Due to inconvenience, so she left her 3 children to her brother. I care. Brothers and sisters always have a good relationship. I often visit your family. Whenever you have a vacation, sometimes you stay for a few days. You're also happy to help. Things like taking care of the garden. Help your sister. In fact, it's a 13-year-old. But it's quite tall. The wedding went well. After a night of drinking. Thanks for drinking a lot. So she spent the night at her mother's house in King's Landing. Until noon the next day. You're still in bed and you can't get up. Suddenly, I called her in a panic and said that she was gone. You changed color. It seemed that the sound of the wine had flown away immediately. She kept asking me what happened. God says that after hours, I didn't see her coming home after school. When the elves returned to Duongbin village, it's about 4 p.m. You and Tai go door to door, ask the villagers and the neighbors, but no result. They decided to go to the kindergarten where Ziluan was studying, but the answer made the fairies crumble. The school's teacher said Len didn't go to school that day. Aware of the serious situation, they immediately called the police. Even though she's just a stepmother, but the mood of the fairies are burning. It's like she's my blood. At first, the police thought it was a missing person, but after a few days, there's still no clue or news of Ziluan. The devil is also worried about losing sleep. Also, I can't tell my husband I'm in South Africa. As the situation gets worse, the investigation room of the police took over the case, and the investigation was led by Detective Young Yuk Dong, Inspector True Lundman, Inspector HOA. At 4 p.m. on June 25th, the genie was summoned to the police. At the same time, the police sent officers to Yangping San and the Great Prince to investigate. At 5:15 p.m., something new happened. In the garden behind the House of the Fairies, Duongbin New Village, there's a place where weeds are particularly sparse. The land there is a trace. It looks a bit like a tomb. And what's more suspicious is that the land is still new. There's obviously a human impact. Detective Yang Yudong started digging the ground. Suspicious of, I saw a human head start to rot, decomposed and filled with maggots. Maybe the victim died a long time before the detective was found. Since preliminary analysis, according to the size of the skull and the long hair left behind, the police speculate this is the missing daughter of the fairies. So where are the other parts? Tried, but the police couldn't find it. The police have invited the elves to judge. From the facial contours, she painfully determined that it was Ziluan, disappeared 8 days ago. When the victim disappeared, she was in the country on June 17th. Police say this is a murder. At the same time, the police found the Heather in Wang Daxian district and take him back to the station for questioning. At first, the police politely asked, but the expression of euphoria is rather puzzling. He said she went to school as usual that morning, but by the time I got out of school, I didn't see Ziluan coming back. This strange attitude Sao can get past the police. He grabbed the boy by the neck and interrogated him. The other hand wants to punch you in the face, even if it is only a baby. Under the bombardment of questions, the police officer's indignant determination, he looks like he's about to cry. The police didn't go around yelling at him. Tell me if you killed her. You're such a cute girl and you're cruel. Tell me where your conscience is. The question seemed to choke him. Don't give any space. Broken down and sat down and cried. He bowed his face. It's as if you're feeling remorse to the extreme. Finally, God told me what happened. On that day, on the night of June 16th, after dinner, he took a bath for Shaolun according to his sister's instructions. While the barbarians were drying Cho Shaolun, accidentally touching some parts, sensitivity on her body. Out of curiosity, after taking a shower, she changed chasing her clothes. Him to scold. Suddenly she punches a very painful blow in the face. Instinctively he pushed her. Ziluan fell and hit his head and the rock on the ground. Ziluan motionless. The psychopath thinks she's just trying to scare you, so just ignore it and go to bed. It's about 4 a.m. I woke up suddenly remembering what happened. You immediately run out into the field. Then I found out that Shaolun was still there. He kicked Ziluan's leg, but she didn't react. When you touch with your hand, my body was cold. She's not breathing anymore. The utmost fear rises, so he decided to destroy the body. He dragged the body to the back garden. I want to burn to ashes. Maybe the garden was too wet, so he had to dig a hole with a pickaxe, buried the body. It's not possible at this point to convict anyone of a crime. After identifying the culprit, he was immediately pressured to the scene in Duong Bin to recreate the case. Upon arrival, it led the police to another part of the hill, in the back garden, and found the rest of the body. But the body was divided into parts. He uses a kitchen knife to easily dissect the victim and tried to cut off her arm. But he doesn't know how to give up after a few cuts. Next is cutting your hand. Burn them into ash and mix them with soil. So the first sow and the body of the accident, he was buried into different places. The Thai creator said that the first part looks horrible. I just want to be buried as soon as possible. Other trees are too hard to dig. In addition, the barbarians also carried as a school uniform, a school pair of black leather shoes up the hill, burning them. Create a fake episode that the victim went to school and disappeared. Let the police be suspicious. Next, the police collected 10 pieces of land suspected of being Cho in the backyard. Saying at that time, I also found a small object partly on the hill. After the case came to light, the police officer couldn't help but shake his head and sigh. Is this what a 13-year-old can do? It's almost 9 p.m. Strong medical examiner Hu Kwon to the scene and conduct a preliminary examination. Determined that the time of death was more than a week, and the police suspect even Zi Luan was raped. But we'll have to wait for the results from forensics. Can be confirmed. As the case comes to an end, an unusual detail was discovered. That makes the case a big deal. There was a deep hole in the victim's head. It's probably caused by a sharp weapon like a wand. It's this. Move the investigation to the charge of intentional murder as a murder, instead of manslaughter. Police later said he searched the house and found a knife in the kitchen and iron faucet about 2 sickles long. They're all believed to have been used as weapons. Murder. Before this terrible discovery, the police and the people couldn't believe it. In response to the harsh interrogation, Gao repeatedly said he didn't know. This kid is so shy. He said it might have been the head of Zi Luan hitting the rock. The facts of the case seem more complicated than imagined. At the same time, do not exclude the possibility of an accomplice or mastermind. June 2nd, 7. He was charged with murder by police in court. The 13-year-old is charged with murder. It's probably never on the record. The case in Hong Kong. But there are still stories behind. It doesn't stop at this tragic case. Stepmom Thai. First, he always shows that he is very good to you. Although it's a bit strict, but she's completely taken for granted. But an unexpected truth is revealed. According to Zi Luan's grandmother, she was the mother of the mill. That's not true at all. My daughter changed the environment. It wasn't a good life to be with her. In addition to lacking many things. Not enough food, not enough sleep. The poor girl was even beaten up. This condition occurs more and more often. After her father went to South Africa working, she said that even her granddaughter in a full house, but she's like an orphan. Her words were later confirmed. In the kindergarten where Zi Luan studied, the school confirmed she passed out in school twice because of hunger and cold and fall into a coma. The doctor then confirmed, due to excessive hunger and her body is completely exhausted. Judging from the economic situation of this situation is really confusing. These days, the happiest time of the year. It can only be found on campus. Precious smiling face, her can be seen when talking to teachers and classmates. It's sad when the child is naive, lovely and worthy of happiness, not just deprived of childhood, but also to suffer. Even when she died, the body is also not intact. Her grandmother told her granddaughter's story. I remember her crying out loud. She said that a series of criminal acts. That's terrible. It can't be done by a 13-year-old. She insisted that there was an accomplice. He even ordered the boy, and she kept saying it was her second daughter-in-law. She is also the stepmother of the fairy. As mentioned, since the death of Zi Luan, the place where she's buried is rumored to be haunted, and then everyone came together and invited the monk to light the fire. He died at the school before he died, and nothing unusual seemed to happen after that. However, families that live close to the heathen family, I hear the cry of children every night. About 10 months after their tragedy, on 14 quarters year a 9/8 trial was opened in. Supreme Court prosecutor changes. The original murder charge became manslaughter, and the prosecutor presented all the facts of the case. Alleges that the accused committed manslaughter. At the same time, medical officials said they could not determine the cause of death because the body is severely swollen and decomposed. The trial ended after 3 days. The jury unanimously acquitted him. Because I'm underage. Without additional judgment. Maybe the facts of the case aren't that simple. Maybe it'll sink forever into oblivion, and it's not well understood. The bright future of the poor girl. Now there's only ashes. It's a shame for a human being. But I believe the law exists. Even though the killer was young. One day, maybe the hidden corners of the case are exposed. The criminal will pay the price. And maybe then the nightly cry will die down. And that's the story of today. Do you have any thoughts? Comment below. If you like us and subscribe to our channel, thank you very much. Hello and see you later.